And anything you want to say about the veterans hospitals and improving the care there?
That's going to be that's one of my biggest issues right now. It's one of the largest. Maria, most people don't realize that we're the largest non-military agency in the federal government. The VA is. We have over 470,000 employees, even with what we've talked about this morning. And the VHA, our healthcare system, is the largest healthcare system basically in this country. So we're looking right now to say, how can we use what Congress has given through the Mission Act, through our community care program, and our VA hospitals, our CBOCs, our clinics? Because and I've told this to the Senate when I was confirmed, I believe that VA care is VA care. There'll always be a VA system for the veteran who wants it, and there's always going to be VA care for what Congress has asked for, and that is the flexibility for the veteran to go into the community. No matter where it is, there's going to be a high standard for what we ask for our veterans care, because I've made it very clear, if you hurt one of my veterans, if you're taking my veteran, hurting them in healthcare, or you're not getting their benefits processed quickly, then you have no place in the VA, and we're going to continue to force that.
Okay, he said something. This guy's an expert at framing, right? And so he obviously supports community care. He was a huge proponent of the Mission Act back in the Trump round one. Doug Collins and the undersecretary, his name is Paul Lawrence, I believe, are both, like, their number one priority is VHA and community care, bar none, for sure. I think that's very apparent. And what he said there is VA care is VA care, no matter who it comes from or where it comes from, paraphrased. That tells me that he's essentially doubling down on what the plan is for VA healthcare. With that, the Mission Act, the Complete the Mission Act, community care, saying that VA care is VA care no matter what. And then he also, on the back end of his statement there, threw in like an accountability clause. Obviously, it's not contractual, right? But he said, hey, if you hurt a veteran, like, there's no place for you at the VA. I think that also applies to VHA staff as well as VHA contracts for community care. That's how I interpret that. I'm pretty sure that, like, Jason and I have followed this topic a lot within the past probably 6 months. And everything is pointing towards exactly what he just said. I don't see any indicator where that's not the case. What do you think is going to happen with that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the VA, on the VHA side, Veterans Healthcare Administration side, is not going to go anywhere. You're still going to be able to go to a VA medical center if you so choose. But they are really, really going to double down on the ability for a veteran to seek community care if that's what they wish. There's plenty of veterans out there that either A, don't like their VA. There's plenty that love their VA. I've never had necessarily a negative experience. I've had some long wait times, right? Where it's like, I set up my first appointment in a while, and they were like, oh, it's 5 months out. And I'm like, okay, well, just schedule it. Whatever. And then you don't even know what you're going to be, where you're going to be 5 months from now. Right. And then my 5 months comes up and I'm like, oh, I got an appointment that I can't miss versus I'm going to put my healthcare on the line. Forget it. So I had to cancel it. Then I had to reschedule it. And then now it's out another 2 months. And it's like, okay, well, hopefully I don't have something else come in that's more pressing than that at that time. So that's a little bit frustrating. And it's a little more difficult, just so people understand, to get community care if you haven't seen your VA provider for some time. If you wait 2, 3, 4 years and not go to the VA and not go see anybody, have no conversations, just sit back and do you, and then all of a sudden you call in, it's a little more difficult to go get community care because you haven't been seen in the last year by a VA provider. So probably try to do that. And then the only workaround is if you go to like the emergency room. I'm having some chest pain. I'm going to go to the emergency room. I had some chest pain, and my ankle hurts. Can you check that out too? Right. Yeah. It's I think that what we're going to see, Clay, is we're going to continue to see investment in the VHA brick and mortar, medical facilities, some revamping in there because there has been, some neglect. Some of these facilities are old, so they're gonna have to invest in those brick and mortar facilities. And then I think that we're absolutely going to see a reinvestment, if you will, into the community care program, and almost a re-grand opening of that program. I think that there's going to need to be a lot of work, not just on the veteran being able to access community care, but the relationship the VA has with community care doctors, payments, all of that type of stuff, right? Some doctors are like, look, I'm not getting paid. I did this service and I'm still waiting on a paycheck. That word gets around. Other doctors are like, oh no, I'm not working with the VA. So there's going to need to be some kind of revamping of that as well. Back to you.
Yeah. I do like how you brought up the primary care, because I see community care as like referral. So you go see your primary care, you get referred to a neurologist. That appointment is 2 months out, right? It's past the 21 days, I think it is. And then you go to community care for the referral. I think what that means for veterans is if you haven't seen your primary care in a while, just make an appointment, right? It's one, healthcare is important. Routine checkups are important. Routine checkups stop cancer. That's what I just went to the My VA actually in January, and that's what my doctor told me on the importance of just once a year, go talk to your doctor.